Earth, a place where violence and mayhem seize the day, where soldiers defeat one another to claim land for their kings, a place where glorious battles take place, but in their plights, could humans truly be alone?
There are alien dwarfs walking among us today.
Could all our greatest historical moments be the result of an ongoing battle between the good and evil alien factions?
Hitler was an alien.
Beyond a shadow of a doubt, Jesus had diabetes.
Follow along with us as we explore a brave frontier of new evidence suggesting that not only are we sharing our galaxy with intelligent life, but sharing the same planet as well.
Santa Claus and his sleigh had a nuclear reactor.
And could ancient aliens be amongst us today, running our world, influencing our leaders, taking our jobs?
The Great War between the Pilgrims and the Turkey had only just begun.
Find out tonight on Aliens of the Past. What is pumpkin pie? What is the deal with squashes? What the hell is this thing? Nearly 400 years ago, we started Thanksgiving. But have we ever asked ourselves, why? Our story begins in the age of exploration. Christopher Columbus, Ponce de Leon, and his fleet Mexicans.
Christopher Columbus was a rapist. And then he set sail for America. In Italy, Christopher Columbus was notorious for petty street crimes.
As a con artist and a rapist, the Italians called him Cristobal, as he would be telling false fortunes with his crystal balls. And Cologne, because he was often found peddling cheap cologne on the street corners.
But it was his fortune that changed drastically when he swindled a galleon from an orphanage in a shell game in Venice.
Christophe Colomb needed to run his con game to a new level because the heat was on in Italy. He figured he'd travel to land of the greatest cons of all, India. But the Ottomans had already blocked the passage off by building furniture factories to make more Ottomans.
But he quickly learned these weren't the Indians he was looking for.
Native Americans, John.
What?
Native Americans, not Indians.
Shut up, Terrence. Anywho, the Indian natives didn't take too kindly to Christopher Columbus, considering he raked and pillaged his way through all the Caribbean islands.
He even once said, I could take this whole island with 50 men. Columbus voyaged to the Caribbean island and named it Islas de Santa Ursula y las 11,000 Virgenes, Island of St. Ursula and the 11,000 Virgins.
Rape culture was really bad in Spain.
Christopher Columbus wasn't an alien, but he was an illegal alien.
So could Christopher Columbus had found a new land, as ancient astronomers suggest? And if so, was he also responsible for the breaking of the Great Turkey Treaty?
Cristobal Colon began something he could not possibly finish, mainly because he died of Super AIDS.
Christopher Colombo was said to have chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, super syphilis, gout, and rectal seepage.
Apparently, not all the women on the island were virgins after all.
Ponce de Leon discovered the United States. He was believed to have landed in Florida, then sailed back to Florida years later with a fleet of retirees to colonize.
The retirees were mainly known for that flair and show, like Jerry hat tricks, for instance. But Ponce was mortally wounded by an Indian alien insurgent.
Was it Christopher Columbus, Ponce de Leon, or a fleet of retirees that discovered America? Ancient astronomers say yes. But little did they know upon arriving, they had broken an ancient treaty between the humans and a long-time nemesis, the Turkeys. It was 10,000 BC, the Getting Stoned Age, and at this time, the Great Unknown and the evil alien faction were united.
There was a Confederate Republic of Advanced Planets, and in 10,000 BC the Ice Age was ending, and it was about to take humanity with it.
When the aliens cast a vote to save the humans, the evil alien faction said no, ha! But when the council heard this, they thought he said Noah.
So the aliens traveled to Noah, yelling instructions on how to build a spaceship over a loudspeaker.
The aliens taught him how to collect DNA. They lent him an alien cloning device to reconstitute life.
I mean, think about it. Could you really fit all those dinosaurs on the Ark?
So when Noah built a spaceship, he collected all of the animal DNA on Earth. But while collecting DNA, Noah forgot to sterilize the needles, and he accidentally mixed some animal DNA with other animals. I mean, really? What the fuck is this thing?
Noah then flew his spaceship for what he believed was 40 days.
I don't know. It's not like they had watches back then. Ice caps don't just up and melt in 40 days. We've been polluting this place for like 1,000 years and we haven't melted them yet. And we're trying.
Could Noah have created all life on Earth as researchers suggest? And if so, could the turkeys have really been aliens? Ancient astronomers say yes.
Noah landed his spaceship on Mount Arad and set all the animals free.
Little did he know of the havoc he was about to unleash on the world. Why is there turmoil in the Middle East? Why is the Ottoman Empire now called Turkey? Does this explain why they recently had a coup?
The country Turkey is called Turkey because it was inhabited and controlled by turkeys.
The Turkish land was a land of many animals who came from the mixed alien DNA. The turkeys weren't the only animals, though.
Constantinople was actually called Continental. You'll see this in Turkish cities Istanbul, Diyarbakir, the city of Bor, the town of Alpaca.
The alien turkeys were stuck in a turf war between the evil ancient aliens controlling Rome and the humans controlling the East. But once Rome started closing the gap, the war between the evil ancient aliens and the humans killed all but the turkey.
They knew they had to find a way out, so they met with Jesus and created the new covenant between the turkey. Not the Bible, that was something else.
He knew of a land far away, not yet touched by modern humans. Jesus and the turkey created the Great Turkey Treaty, where the turkeys would inhabit the new land and the humans would stay in the old world.
Mount Arad is on the other end of the world from Plymouth Rock. We believe there is an elevator between the two. The turkeys used the elevator at the center of the earth.
It was said that during the final supper, it had been traditional to eat turkey, but for the truce, the turkeys brought McRonald's fellatio fish as a sign of their new pact.
McRonald's rainbow forms an arch. Rainbows only show up in the rain. Is that why turkeys stare up at the sky during storms? Are they looking for the mothership? Noah's Ark?
There was one thing they didn't anticipate. The treacherous alien insurgent Judas was pescophobic. The very next day, the turkey left for their side of the world, and Jesus died.
But even still, the Great Turkey Treaty was upheld, until it was lost by the Ottomans in a yard sale, and a new age of explorers traveled to the land with a thirst for exploitation. They were called the Pilgrims. In 1620, the Pilgrims left England and set sail for America, fitted with the finest arms available for their time.
The Mayflower had a plasma cannon. It was found and delivered by an explorer named Copernicus. How do you think he knew the Earth went around the sun? He saw it from a spaceship.
Nobody knew how to use it then, but 100 years later, Cornelius Drebbel, the inventor of the first submarine, learned how.
How do you think the Mayflower made it through all the icebergs in the Atlantic? The Titanic couldn't even do it, and it was the biggest, baddest ship in history. On the foremast of the Mayflower was a plasma cannon.
Upon landing at Plymouth Rock, the Pilgrims tried to settle, but they couldn't. The turkeys launched attacks on the Mayflower from the moment it came down. This caused famine amongst the Pilgrims.
They couldn't plant food. They couldn't build anything. But one day, a group of defecting Indians showed themselves, bringing turkey, corn, and potatoes to the Pilgrims as an offering of peace.
Native Americans!
And on a cold fall evening, the Pilgrims and their new Indian allies gathered to discuss the quandary of their poultry problem.
For many moons, the Turkey have enslaved my people. It's time we end this and strike back.
Or, what do you propose we do, Albert? Yeah!
We hit the heart of the enemies. We take their neck bones and giblets.
The turkeys won't let us plant no food, nor let us build no settlements. Hell, we can't even get off the goddamn ship most days.
What? And a turkey pecked me right in the steakhouse!
Now listen, everyone. There has to be a way to solve this terrible dilemma, but we must think rationally.
I know one way you can get rid of your turkey problem.
Found us a spot.
The turkeys.
The name's Fawkes. Gai Fox. And I know one good way to roast one of them turkey bastards.
What would you have us do, Mr. Fawkes? We are merchants and farmers. We don't have the means to win a war.
You see, that's where you're wrong. I reckon you have about 30 barrels of black powder on that ship. And there's a turkey compound located just 7 leagues south of here. Yeah, take that powder and you can line them up like Joan of Arc at the View Marché.
Yeah! That plan might actually work.
Then it's settled. We shall attack at dusk on the morrow.
Yes, on the day of Friday. Black Friday.
On Black Friday, the Pilgrims and the Indians marched to the turkey compound. Arriving at dusk, they launched their attack, rolling their barrels into the fortress. During this day of Black Friday, the turkey base was raided for everything it was worth. However, there was one dire casualty. The infamous Gai Fox was captured by the turkeys during the raid. Hours was spent torturing him to extract information about their enemies.
Shit! No, you peasant bastard! Not me, wake up now! Leave me berries alone!
During the disembowelment of the Fox, the Pilgrims fired their plasma cannons into the turkey castle, utterly destroying it.
But these Pilgrims had not completely won. The Great War between the Turkeys and the Pilgrims had only just begun. Even with their firepower, they couldn't anticipate the savagery of the Turkeys, who would kill and eat the Plymouth Rock Pilgrims for breaking the treaty.
This wasn't the first time Turkey would eat humans. The Great Harvest was started in early centuries, when a turkey would take sacrifices of Indian children and eat their innards.
The Pilgrims had one shipmate they lost, but this was not in vain. You see, earlier that night, he had eaten pumpkin pie, and the turkeys had shown how sick this made them.
The pumpkin is a weapon of turkey warfare. They used the Munchkin Pumpkin Chunkin machine to launch pumpkins into turkey territory to make the land inhospitable for turkeys.
The pumpkin catapult was used, and has been used ever since as a tradition for the day the Pilgrims took America from the Turkeys.
Even Benjamin Franklin declared the turkey should be the national bird. But with further study of the parchment, it actually said national burden.
The turkeys participated in wars against the colonists for years. The Revolutionary War, the Mexican-American War, and even the Battle of LA.
Is it remember the Alamo or remember the Alamo?
The Turkey and their Indian slaves had been pushed west where they later became Mexicans, and after that, they created Dia de la Muerte to honor those sacrificed to the turkey.
So did the British conspire with the turkey to destroy the colonies in the Revolutionary War? And if so, could a critical strike at the head of the Hessian army prove a decisive move against the turkey? Ancient astronomers say yes. But a new chapter was about to unfold in the conquest against the turkey, the Cold Turkey Initiative. In 1780, there was a spy who went by the name of Samuel Culpeper, who was in cahoots against the Turkey Rebellion. He was the man who was single-handedly responsible for stopping the Great American Coup, also known as the Coalition of United Pheasants.
Samuel Culpeper had heard through the grapevine that the Turkey had started a rebellion to fight the new national order. He rounded up a ring of spies and infiltrated the Turkey Intelligence British Communications Agency to stop them.
Samuel Culpeper heard there was a spy against the Americans by the name of Benedict Arnold, but also stopped the attempted assassination of Andrew Jackson.
In 1824, Samuel Culpeper intercepted a cannonball with his face. And it was originally intended to hit Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson responded by beating the turkey to death with a hickory stick. And that's why we all know Andrew Jackson is saying, "I'll smoke your turkey, bitch."
Samuel Culpeper's death bolstered the coalition of United Pheasants, and their coup was starting to gain momentum. They even enlisted Ichabod Crane, who was actually a crane, who was indoctrinating children to be sympathetic to the turkey plight.
But this atrocity made Samuel Culpeper turn over in his grave, and armed with the most powerful weapon against the turkey, he attacked Ichabod Crane within the township of Sleepy Hollow.
Ichabod Crane approached Culpeper to fill his head with lies, but obviously that wasn't gonna work.
Before tossing his pumpkin at Ichabod Crane, he said, "I think it's time you'd be heading out."
The Headless Horseman smashed a pumpkin against Ichabod Crane's skull, killing him instantly.
The streets were filled with blood and gore, a fitting punishment for the turkey. From this day forward, the turkey would never revolt again. Through years of re-education and first world non-issues, they had deflated their intelligence so much that they were reduced to little more than cattle. And so ends our story of Thanksgiving.
The ancient alien faction had thought they found a champion in the Great Coup, but thanks to the efforts of a few brave humans, they turned this avian epidemic into a lame duck. And the great struggle between the turkey and the humans had finally ended, and it's all thanks to one thing.
Pilgrims. Pilgrims.
What was it?
I forgot.
No, I don't want any! Goddamn Latter-day Saints keep trying to sell me ladders.
Godzilla was sent by the evil alien faction to kill Santa's... Oh, wait. We're not doing that one yet? Alright, never mind. Godzilla's not real.
The turkey has participated in wars against the colonists for years. Everybody should just read all their lines like Chris.
This map was drawn by Copernicus in 1642, and as you can see, it's before the turkeys blew up Pluto.
Hey, what are you doing?
I'm just double checking the script and making sure we got everything.
As he scrolled through the transcribed text, he found himself befuddled. How much power do turkeys have?
Oh, that guy. Lonely one. Oh, do you believe in life after love? Just cut it in.
Just cut it in.
Right before his death, Leonardo da Vinci painted The Great Flight of Copernicus, depicting his exit from the solar system for good. That's glorious.
Shut up, it's my turn to do the outro.
Oh, that's a salty lemon.
No, Lucas, stop it!